if you're just starting off, the advice that I would say that I always tell people, it's like try to find what you actually like to post about versus just following the trend. Honestly, we are not overnight successes, and so I want people to understand that there's, if you really want to grow your brand, understand why you want to do it in the first place, find the niche, find what it is that you like, and then just keep doing it, because even if you think no one is seeing that.
All right, welcome back to this episode of the How to Get a Job podcast. Today we have a return guest, Stephanie Nuesi, with us, and she's a career coach, she's a speaker, founder of Max Up, and a content and brand growth coach. Stephanie, bienvenida. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me again. It's been, I think, 3 years from the last episode that I was here, and I can't believe that I'm back again. And so much have happened ever since I was here back then. So I'm really excited to just talk with your audience and discuss everything job search and brand growth.
I can't believe it's been 3 years. Wow, the growth that you've had in 3 years has been incredible, and what a case study of grit, determination. Because I know it's not been easy, and I know it's been rewarding, but it's been awesome to see. It's been really awesome to see. So super proud of you, super happy. And I would even encourage anyone listening to this episode, if you find value, go listen to the episode that we did 3 years ago. And if you listen to the episode, you can understand why Stephanie has done what she's done. Because the way that her mind works, her mindset, her grit, her determination, you should go listen to it, Stephanie, because you would be so proud of your younger self, of how awesome you've manifested all this. But why don't you catch us up? What's been the latest and greatest in the last 3 years?
I think one of them has been, I mean, if okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing you just said and ask people to go and listen to that audio recording, because if you listen to that and then you listen to me now and then I listen to myself speaking, I'm like, whoa, my English has improved like tremendously. And I'm just here like, wow, I think that's great. But the second thing is definitely on the approach that I have used my mindset to get me to, right? So back then, I was really focused on helping job seekers land their dream careers. And now that I'm a little bit more into the workforce, into my career, I have developed new passions. And even though I'm still helping job seekers, one of them have been like, who's helping the people that are actually in the workforce now, right? How do we get people, once they're in their careers, to actually get to the next level, right? And I know you, Daniel, have focused a lot on mastering people like from college to career, but then what happens after career, right? And so my focus now is to continue helping people land their jobs, but also developing those professional skills once they're in the workforce, and then utilizing those skills to actually create opportunities for them. I mean, there's infinite amount of possibilities out there, and that's what I've been doing, helping clients and people monetize using social media and using their brand. So it's been really fulfilling to put all my passions into like one big bucket that I call synergy, which is kind of my brand, right? Step synergy. And I just love to see all of it come together and kind of like getting people to where they want to be.
I love that. I love that so much. So for that same reason that you kind of have evolved through the years and evolved your passions, and so you were focused on helping people get jobs, and you're like, okay, now they have jobs, how do I help them get to the next level, right? Build their personal brand, be able to monetize that. And I love the fact that you've been able to grow to the point where you've been even be able to help your family, retire, and that's like super amazing. I feel exactly like similar to you, where I felt like, I helped for the last 10 years. I've been helping like college students get jobs, and my company used to be called Mastering College to Career. A big reason why we renamed the company to OPNI, which stands for opportunity, is because of the overarching goal of helping people reach their maximum opportunity, reach their maximal potential. And so like even there, like as I've been having so many conversations through the last 4 years, and a lot of those conversations are with career coaches, I realize how many amazing career coaches are out there that are great at coaching, are great at the resumes, the interview prep, the networking part of it, but don't know how to run a career coaching business, and they burn themselves out or have to go back and get a job. And I realized if I have a goal of helping 1 million people get a job, one of those ways to help more people get jobs and have a bigger impact, right, is what if I help 1,000 career coaches get 1,000 clients. Then I can still help a million people by creating this ripple effect, because I see it all the time, like great career coaches struggling to run a career coaching business where it doesn't rely on them. And so I love that, that you're following that next step of your journey. And so I would love to learn more about what, like, more about that. Tell me more about that story, and tell me more about how are you doing this?
Absolutely. So I want to walk people through a little bit of like the beginnings and how it all started. So I love creating content. I'm a content creator on LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it, right? And I used to hear a lot of things about the creator economy and how people make money through social media. And so as someone who's always been on social media and always sharing her journey, I always thought, well, what if I could get paid for literally doing the same thing I'm doing now, but actually like increasing more opportunities and actually getting capital so I can build something else for people, right? And so I focus my energy in understanding really the creator economy, how to grow your brand, how you can get brands to work with you. And I started recognizing an opportunity because literally, people might not know this, but LinkedIn has not been done as a platform for brands to come
Mm-hmm.
and get creators and share things around. And so, because I saw that, I said, this is an opportunity for me to potentially get brands to work with me. The way I made it happen was I typically share tools that I use either for job search, for whatever it is. And so I realized that a lot of these companies spend thousands, right, of dollars into like marketing and advertising what they're doing. And I've been doing that for free for them. And I get all my community and I get all my fans to literally go through and help these people, and they make more money and they make revenue. And so I was like, okay, there's something here. And I remember that a lot of brands, and mind you, majority of the brands that I've worked with have been through inbound, right? So they come to me and say, hey, we really like your content, we want to work with you. How does it work, how we can get you to represent us? And so it started with one, then the other one, then the other one, and then this huge just three of like brands just like started coming all at once to me. The big ones I work with was Spotify, right? And that was like mind blowing to me because I realized like, wow, right? When you think about these big brands, right? These retailers, right? Pepsi, all of these great companies, you think about, oh, well, Instagram and all these other things. But what about LinkedIn? What about all the creators that actually create like actual meaningful content on this amazing professional platform, but they yet don't get anything out of it, right? And so I started doing that for myself as I was building up my coaching business and as I was doing my public speaking business and as I was doing everything else, right? So I like to call myself an octopus. I literally do everything, right? And so I realized that at some point it was just me doing it. And I was like, okay, but I want to get more people to get the same opportunities that I'm getting. That's what it's all about. And I started creating programs, creating coaching for people that didn't know how to do this, but they were amazing creators. And now I coach those people that are working with the same, if not bigger brands than the ones I used to work with. And so I feel like that's the most meaningful part of what I've done so far. It's like now I've been helping people get jobs, and now I'm helping the people that help people get jobs to actually build other income streams so they can also continue like helping and building for those job seekers, but they can also build for themselves because at the end of the day, right, this is what it's all about. So I think that going from now, yeah, I think we're doing a similar thing where it's like now I'm helping the people that are helping
Mm-hmm.
others, and I feel like that's super meaningful, and it's been super fulfilling for me. And then you mentioned something that I want to emphasize. I could, I mean, if you ask me, I'm an immigrant. For those of you that are listening and don't know my story, definitely recommend going back to that episode that I talk about how I came to the US. But just to give everyone a TLDR, I helped my parents retire to my home country when I was 23. And I don't think that's something that I don't take that for granted, right? And all of that was through me building up like opportunities and building up different income streams through social media, brand growth, and coaching others. And so there are infinite opportunities and possibilities, as I said earlier. And I think that people should definitely take advantage of that.
No, I love that. And as someone that like can relate in a sense of like, so I moved to this country, right? And I think we've talked about this. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast of my story. Like I moved, so my dad died when I was 3. My mom and I moved to the United States literally when I was 8 years old with $2,000 in two suitcases, right? And my mom has been working, and she works 15, like for the first 15 years, 7 days a week, two jobs, just trying to make it work. And we always rented. My mom never thought she can buy a house. So I bought my house right like after college in 2013. I bought my house, and I remember like my mom was paying more for rent than what you can buy a house, but she never thought she could. She's like, I could never save up for the down payment of the house. So I was like, look, mom, like I'll pay the down payment, right? Like I'll put the down payment, I'll put the closing costs. All you have to do is continue to use the money that you were paying for rent, which was like $1,400, and now your mortgage in your house, which is a nicer house, better place, better location, a mile, like literally a mile from my house, is actually $200 less than what she was paying for rent, right? And so that's super cool because now she bought the house in 2014, and so she has so much more equity in the house, right? She's paying that she's everyone's rent has gone through the roof. Hers is still the same because it's a 30-year fixed mortgage. And so it just like those little things that we can do to give back to our parents like makes a massive difference. And that's really amazing. I wanted to actually like talk to you about your personal brand and advice for people wanting to build a personal brand, because like you know when I ask people, when I talk about a lot of like, hey, like building your personal brand on LinkedIn, whether you want to be an influencer or not, whether you ultimately want to get brand deals or not, is an amazing way to get noticed and to essentially recession proof and bulletproof your career. But they're like, hey, it's easy for you to say, Deanna, you have tons of followers. It's easy for Stephanie to say she has over 200,000 followers. But like, when you open your LinkedIn account, how many followers did you have?
Zero.
I think we all have zero, right? So, what advice do you have when you're starting out and you have less than 500 connections to build your personal brand? They're like, hey, like, what's the point of writing content every day if no one's gonna read it? I get like 10 views, one like.
Absolutely. So I would say, as you and I think everyone, we all started at zero, right? And I remember when I had less than 500 connections, I was literally doing LinkedIn profile events at my school. I remember I opened LinkedIn when I was a student. And so everyone used to say, oh, you need to have a LinkedIn because if you go to networking events, right,
Mm-hmm.
that's your personal brand, that's your online brand. And I was literally guiding students on how to have a strong LinkedIn profile, but I never really thought, or I never really thought of LinkedIn as like an actual branding tool. And all I did was really just posting about me attending conferences. I think we spoke about that
Yep.
before. And then people started liking that. But then there was one time, it's always the one time, right? You think about TikTok, people grow with just one video go viral and then you just go from there, right? Same thing happened with me where it's like there was one time that I was sitting down in my computer and I was writing about how I got a job offer at a really big company. But I didn't want to be one of those people that shared like, oh, I got a job offer, like I'm super excited and that's it. I wanted to tell people the story behind it, like the
Yeah.
rejections, like how did I get there, right? And so that one post went viral. It got like 1 million views in like 24 hours. And I was just like mind blown. Like I got like 2,000 followers out of that. And mind you, I had like less than 500 connections, right? And so I was like, okay, I recognized that there was a gap here because no one else was posting about this, at least not the way that I was portraying it, not the way that I saw it. And I was like, okay, let me keep going. And then I started like just putting my story out there. Mind you, I never had my goal initially was never to build a brand to get paid or any of those things. My goal was just to tell my story, to potentially build a community of people, to potentially relate with other people that were going through the same thing that I was going through. And eventually I started seeing like all those opportunities coming along. Now for people who want to build their brands to get a job, to build a network, whatever the case may be, like your online brand is like your footprint. It's literally your social footprint. It's what's going to take you to like the investors that want to invest in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to get you to the recruiters that want to hire you, right? If you want to get a job. And so I would say that creating content is so much more than just, building a brand. It's like eventually like what's your end goal. And if you're just starting off, the advice that I would say that I always tell people, it's like try to find what you actually like to post about versus just following the trend. So in my example, I didn't post about job search originally until I saw a gap between like people that didn't have resources. And that's when I found, okay, I want to support these people. I want to create content about that. So I would say like finding what you really like and then starting creating content about that will set you apart from just like following trends. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make at the beginning, like trying to grow quickly or, following trends. I would just say stay true to yourself, find what it is that you like, and then start creating content based on that. I do want to address what you said about creating content and no one seeing it. Even if you think that that's the case, trust me, we all started there, right? I remember when Daniel started, right? And he had little engagement at the beginning, and then he kept going. And then what I realized is like this doesn't happen overnight, right? I've been creating content for 4 years. So I have 200 followers now, but it's been 4 years of creating content. And that's what people don't see. We are not overnight successes. And so I want people to understand that if you really want to grow your brand, understand why you want to do it in the first place, find the niche, find what it is that you like, and then just keep doing it. Because even if you think no one is seeing that, trust me, there's gonna be one person that relates to what you're sharing, and that one person would like be like the foundation to like that community of like thousands of followers and whatever that you're going to build eventually.
Yeah, like I would say like the most what I found in common with all the top, business people or even influencers or people who have a large audience, the one thing they all have in common is consistency. Is that they didn't give up. Is that they kept posting and posting and posting. And I would even say like, does it feel good when one of your posts go viral? Absolutely. And will it happen every day? It won't happen every day. And will you ever be able to predict exactly when and how it will happen? No, you won't. And could you get better at writing better posts? Absolutely, because it's like you get better. It's like anything else in life. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. But I think if you're consistent and you're studying the art of copywriting and you're studying and seeing what's working, making your own thing, you're gonna eventually find your audience, find your voice, and find success in it. And that's in anything you do, whether it's writing content on LinkedIn, creating videos on TikTok, or anything that you want to do in life.
Something else that I would say is that, and I think you hit it right there, was like how many people like don't know what it is that they want to do, but then they realize what it is that they want to do after they start creating content or after they start engaging with other people that are doing it. Like in my case, I started as a career coach and then I eventually evolved into something else. And majority of the top influencers that we follow, the people are really large out there, started doing it without knowing what they wanted to do. And
Yep.
now what they're doing, they're real estate investors, the millionaires, whatever the case may be. And so I would just say like it's okay if you start with one goal and then eventually just evolve into something else, because we all evolve, right? We all grow in different ways. And at the end of the day, like branding, like what branding looks now is not what's going to look five
Yep.
years from now. What branding was 5 years ago on LinkedIn or any social media platform is not what it is now. And so like whatever it is that you want to do, just kind of like sit down. And that was going to be my next step, is like sit down with someone who's done it,
Mm-hmm.
or understand how other people have done it. Because I feel like because I've been surrounded by so many creators that kind of do similar things, or at least like they know what it is that I do and they can relate to my struggles, and then we can all learn together. It's the best thing ever. I'll tell you something, Daniel, and I'm pretty sure you probably have heard this before. Mr. Beats,
Mm-hmm.
right? So amazing creator, right? Really recognized worldwide. I was watching this video and he said this and it really resonated with me. Mr. Beat said there's this one guy who is working 12 hours a week, 12 hours a day for a whole year, and he's making mistakes, he's learning from those mistakes, and he's growing, right? That's point one. Point two, you have another guy that's working with four other people, making the same mistakes, working 12 hours a day for a whole year. The guy with four friends is gonna make a mistake. He's gonna learn about it. He's gonna share it with someone else, and then they're gonna keep sharing with each other. And so the guy with four friends is gonna grow 2 years ahead of the guy that's literally doing it the same thing but alone. And so that's a great analogy, right? To think about like surrounding yourselves with the right people will get you farther than just doing it on your own.
Yeah, no, the power of the mastermind, the power of of a community and sharing and learning from not only your mistakes from the mistakes of others who are very similar. I always think like there's a formula of success. It's like, okay, I have a goal, right? What is the best way to do that? So the one is find three people who have done the goal that you want and learn from them. Two, find three people who have the same goal than you are and go to that goal with them, right? And then find three people who have done, because you want to give back. Find three people that are trying to do a goal that you've already accomplished and help them, right? And if you can do that, I think the world will be a much much better place. Stephanie, no, I think you're so right about that, and I think like the way I would say to anybody listening, there, the best way to reach any goal is to learn from someone who's done it. And if you want to reach a goal, I think you have two options. You're going to pay a price, and you can determine if you want that price to be on time or you want the price to be on money. Because what you'll realize is that if you want to build a business, right, or if you want to be you want to build a brand and become let's say an influencer for on LinkedIn, you can go try to do this yourself. It's going to take you 4 years, right? It's going to take you some time, and you'll get there. You're going to get there, and so you pay the price with time. Or B, you can go hire someone that has already done it. So in this case, like somebody like Stephanie, and it's still going to take you time, but it's not going to take you 4 years but it might cost you money. So you can decide how you want to pay the price. And I would tell you that time is the most valuable resource in the world. And I know it's super hard to believe when you're first starting off. And maybe it's really hard if you can't afford it in the beginning to start working with a coach. But as soon as you can, start reinvesting in yourself, because that's going to pay you much, much, much better dividends than investing in the S&P 500.
Absolutely. And I tell that to my clients all the time. I have a 1 month, 3 month coaching program. And right when I sit down with my clients, that's one of the things that they say is like, Stephanie, I know I can do this alone, but I know it will take me 10 years. But I know I can do it with you, and it'll take me less time. And I need time
Yep.
because at the end of the day, like, okay, think about the biggest millionaires, the biggest CEOs, right? C suite executives, they hire coaches for a reason because they know they can do it. But they want to use the time on something
Yep.
else, right? And so you have to think about it that way. Time is really valuable. And if you need help, get the
Yep.
help,
No,
literally.
absolutely. Stephanie, what you're doing is awesome. We'd love to learn if how can people work with you and how can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. So people can find me with my name, Stephanie Nuesi, on LinkedIn, Instagram, literally everywhere. My website's there. I have a Calendly set up as well for people that want to work with me one on one. As I said, I have different coaching programs. I have a lot of different things. Also, if companies want to hire me for public speaking, which we didn't speak a lot about, but I actually do a lot of public speaking on the side, and I'm always happy to collab with that as well. So this has been really fun.
Stephanie is always with you. Time flies. It's so amazing, and I just feel so energized. Like it's like Friday. It's Friday afternoon. I'm burned out from the week. It's been really, really busy. Zoom fatigue to the max. Come speak with you, and it's like I don't need coffee. Like it's like you just inspire me. I'm so proud of you. I can't. Every time I see you, I want to just say that to you because super inspiring what you're doing, and I think your number one quality is mindset and grit, right? Like it's second to none, and that's why you've been able to accomplish what you've accomplished, and it's just the beginning. So if you're listening to this, if this is for some odd reason the first time you ever hear Stephanie, definitely connect with her and follow her. If you're serious about building a brand and want to learn about sponsorship and deals, it's worth a conversation, because I actually think like it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth paying to get there faster, especially if you know you're going to get brand deals and be able to pay for it sooner than later, right? And if you're listening to this and you're looking for a job and need some help, definitely reach out to either of us. Depending on who you think it's going to better suit your personality and your goals. But we're here to help. If you enjoyed this podcast, give it a like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I appreciate you, all the listeners, so much. Stephanie, you are awesome. Thank you so much. And catch you guys all later on the next episode of the How to Get a Job podcast.